So in this video, we're going to take a little look at how possibly a strong 3-wood could be more beneficial for you hitting more fairways, keeping the ball in play against your driver. Okay, so just before we jump into the video, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel and you're liking the content I'm producing, obviously please consider hitting that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. Hopefully you're going to enjoy it. If you do, again, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon to get notifications of any future videos that land on my channel. Obviously follow my social media platforms, all the links in the description down below, and hopefully just stay in contact and improve your games. So probably one of the biggest comments I get from a lot of pupils I see down here at the academy is they struggle with a driver and they tend to hit the 3-wood as far as a driver, but obviously a lot straighter. So why is that? So what I'm going to do today in this video here is look at hitting some drivers. I've got the G400 LST, which is my driver in the bag, and I've also got a stretch 3-wood in the G400. So basically the stretch is what Ping call it, but ultimately it's a strong 3-wood. So this is lofted at 13 degrees. Standard 3-woods are generally around the 15 degree mark. This is at 13 degrees, effectively like the old-fashioned 2-woods in a way. And maybe just see if there's any differences of distance. I'm guessing there will be, because there's obviously a loft change and there will be a length change, because obviously the stretch 3-wood will go a little bit shorter in the shaft than a driver. But maybe the more important bit is accuracy. Let's see if we can keep this ball in play and see which, for me personally, is keeping that ball in play, and if so, how much trade-off am I having in terms of distance, and is that something that I can accept out on the golf course, or, and obviously relating it more to you guys here, is that something you can afford to give up out on the golf course if you're keeping that ball in play? Okay, so I'm going to start off with my drive. I'm going to hit a batch of shots with the driver here. As I say, it's G400 LST, 8.5 degree, specs up to me, and we'll hit a batch of shots. Probably won't show you every single ball flight here, and then we'll jump into the stretch, hit some shots, and let's have a look at some differences maybe between that dispersion and speed and distance. Ah, it's lovely. Don't need a 3-wood. I've absolutely nailed that. I might end the video there. Okay, so that's a great opening shot there. 306 altogether there in terms of distance. Okay, so there's a batch of shots hit there with the driver. Okay, I've got one leaking off to the right there, a couple turned over a little bit left. Generally struck those all right. There's one where I really got a necky one there, which you'll see that's dropped off a little bit of distance there. Okay, so let's jump into that stretch 3. We'll hit a batch of shots with that, and then we'll look at some numbers a little bit more detail, and I'll give you a little bit of feedback, maybe what I'm experiencing through strike, and maybe visual of ball flight, and if there's a control better with one or the other. We'll have a little look. Okay then, so stretched 3-wood in my hand, so basically a strong 3-wood here. This is lofted at 13 degrees, so generally 2 degrees stronger than a typical 3-wood. And obviously in the Ping version here, the stretch, hence the name, that the head is a little bit more stretched from the front to the back. So again, the pulling CG away from that club face. So ultimately it's trying to make it a little bit more forgiving here. But the key thing here is the loft. Obviously it's a little bit stronger, it's nearer to that driver loft. Shaft length is obviously going to change a little bit here, with the 3-wood being a little bit on the shorter side, and this is, I think, is where a lot of golfers will like that feel. That shorter shaft there just feels like they've got a lot more control over the club, maybe control strike a little bit better. As soon as you can control strike with that little bit more loft, then it's easier to get ball speed, but also then try and control curvature left to right, so ultimately straight to golf shots. So this will be interesting to see with this particular test here. So going to hit it here. Obviously I'm just going to hit it off a slight small tee basically. Okay, and then we'll again hit a batch of shots. Won't show you every single ball flight, and then we'll look at the numbers a little bit more closely. Okay, so that's a nice opening shot there. Strike felt great. Ball flight looked lovely there. Fairly neutral on its flight there, which is good. Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, so let's hit a few more shots and then we'll look at some numbers. Yeah, so straight away there I'm seeing a bit more of a consistent way that ball comes out in relation to that target, and a very consistent ball flight shaping and also peak height. Okay, right, so there's all my shots. Nice straight one to finish on there. I've just hit one slight loose one there. It's just cost me a little bit of dispersion. We'll have a look at that in a minute. But there's back shots hit with the strong 3-wood there. Definitely felt like a little bit more control. Definitely felt like it came out a little bit more consistently there in dispersion. We'll look at that dispersion ring in a minute now. And maybe see if there's a difference between that driver and the 3-wood. Obviously, we're going to see a difference on length, spin, but what about accuracy? That's the big thing we're going to be talking about. Okay, so we'll have a look at numbers first, then we'll look at the dispersion side of things. So clubhead speed, obviously we're going to see a little bit of difference between the driver and the 3-wood there because of the length of the shaft. Ball speed, obviously we're going to see a bit of a difference also because of that differences. Launch, actually launch is quite similar. I thought the 3-wood would launch a little bit higher there, but it hasn't done. Spin number, as you'd expect, a bit more spin there with 3-wood, a little bit more loft, as you'd sort of expect. 2 degrees higher on its peak height, 36 against 34 there. Again, 3-wood loft. We know these sort of differences are going to be there. Descent angles, 3 degrees more steeper coming in, and obviously a difference of carry distance from 278 to 253 average. So it's about 30 yards, 29 yards difference in actual total length. So all real sort of typical differences we would see between driver and a 3-wood, but look at the dispersion rings here. So the white is obviously driver, the blue circle is the 3-wood there. So definitely literally like probably more than halved its size there in terms of dispersion. So what GC2 does here, it puts a ring around all the shots you've hit and gives you a total dispersion here. So obviously you got rights, which I got that right one with the driver. Also got some left ones, it's more typically my shot. And obviously you can see I had more of a one-way miss with the blue lines of the 3-wood. Okay, and there's a tiny bit left there, but everything went in a similar direction. So you can play for that a little bit. And to be honest, that circle was a little bit bigger because of that little rascal there. I just got one a little bit hooky there. You know, if I took that one out, then that blue circle would really shrink down even more. Okay guys, so there we have it. There's driver against a strong 3-wood. So not every manufacturer making strong 3-woods. Obviously some 3-woods are adjustable to make them into that stronger sort of loft, but maybe just be careful there on what that does to face angle. That might not actually suit your particular club delivery there. But quite an interesting one really in terms of dispersion. As we'd expect, the dispersion got tighter. How much of that was quite a considerable amount for me there, but I am giving up, and what I mentioned earlier in the video, I am trading off, I'm giving up 29 yards of total distance there. So it's got to be a decision there, can I cope with of losing that sort of length there against driver? Now I know we all love to hit driver as far as we can. There's nothing I don't think as satisfying as smashing that driver, you know, a long way for you. So to take that off is the distance of that 3-wood sometimes is difficult for a lot of golfers there. But if you're keeping that ball in play, that's what it's about, isn't it? It's keeping that sort of ball in play and lowering those scores. I mean, for me, I've got both of these in my bag, so in a way I've got a little bit of a backup. So possibly that tighter par 4 hole, maybe distance I'm not too worried about, but I really want to keep that ball in play. I possibly drop back to that stretch 3-wood there. Obviously it gives me options off the fairway as well for really long par 5s if I ever need it. So it does give me a few options there. So again, that might be something to carry as well as driver. You know, see how you get on it. But of course, you've got to go out and test these. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. A little bit of a different one there. Something for you to go out and test, and hopefully, you know, if you can do that over a big period of time like that, and maybe more shots than what I've hit, then you can see a difference between keeping that ball in play or maybe not keeping that ball. It depends really, obviously, at the end of the day, how confident you're feeling with that driver. Let me know your comments down below. I'd love to interact. Let's hear your thoughts. What are you playing? Are you playing strong 3-wood, driver, carrying both like I am there? Be really interesting to sort of hear your thoughts. As I say, please hit that subscribe button, very much appreciated. Follow my social media platforms, the links in the description down below, and hopefully I'll catch up with you all very soon.